Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. FPL Consult here, and in today's video I'm going to share with you guys my Game Week 6 transfer plans. I'll also expand a little bit on my chip strategy because things are taking shape. I've kind of firmed up my chip strategy for the next few weeks and I'll discuss all of that in today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Please do drop a like, please do subscribe as well, and let's quickly go through how I did in Game Week 5 before we tinker around with my team. So for Game Week 5, as you can see at the top of the screen, I got 47 points. I'm sitting on 296 points in total now, and that puts me on a small green arrow this week. Considering that I was up against a lot of bench boosters and I didn't use a chip, I'm happy enough to still come away with a tiny green arrow. Things could have gone better. I could have started Dubravka ahead of Sanchez. I was close to doing it, but in the end, I didn't. And yeah, Sanchez obviously with a -3. In defense, Porro and Van de Ven both didn't keep a clean sheet, but next week in Game Week 6, they both have Wolves, so I don't think I'll be doing anything much in terms of Spurs defenders. In Anderson, he hits DEFCON points again, so he's pretty much a DEFCON monster at this point. We knew that. And yeah, he's kind of proving that with 4 points this week. In midfield, Salah and Fernandes both with 10 points, but Salah only with 10 points because he's my captain. He picked up 1 assist. As for Bruno Fernandes, he scored a goal and also walked away with a couple of good bonus points. Semenyo with 5 points because he picked up defensive contributions. I'm not too surprised that he picked up DEFCON points because I did monitor the first few game weeks and how he was doing in terms of DEFCON, and he was actually pretty much hitting double-digit DEFCONs in the first few game weeks, but not hitting the 12, which is the mark for midfielders to get the extra 2 points. So this week he did against Newcastle, so he walks away with 5 points. He hasn't really blanked much this season, which is great for him in terms of an FPL asset. He's not going anywhere. And then as for Reinders, 9 points here. He picked up an assist against Arsenal, 2 bonus points, and also 2 defensive contribution points. I would have benched him if Murillo was fit, and I actually did, right? So the fact that he comes into my team as an auto sub due to Murillo missing out is quite lucky. I have to admit this one. So yeah, Reinders with 9 points. Up front, it's Watkins and João Pedro both with blanks, and Mateta with a 6-pointer with his goal against West Ham. Just to mention Aston Villa before we jump into the next section, it's very, very disappointing and not good watching that against 10-man Sunderland, Aston Villa still cannot put in a convincing performance and win the game easily. It's really not looking good for Aston Villa. And Ollie Watkins is quite expensive. If I sell him for Haaland, which kind of is the plan right now, then I do think that it frees up a lot of money to allow me to go for other upgrades elsewhere with a higher ceiling. So in terms of Ollie Watkins, very disappointing. Let's see what I plan to do to bring Erling Haaland in Game Week 6. So this is my team on the FPL.team transfer planner, and let's actually start off with Sanchez in goal here. Even though he picked up a red card against Manchester United, he is not red flagged, and that is because he is indeed available for Game Week 6, simply because it was deemed that he did not commit any serious foul play. He only denied a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity, in which case he serves a 1-game ban, and that can be served in the midweek in the EFL Cup games, and therefore he will be available against Brighton. But whether or not he actually starts, whether Enzo Maresca decides that after that poor performance against Manchester United that he still wants to put faith in Sanchez, then that's a different question, right? But I'm not going to make any contingencies for that, like any keeper transfers whatsoever, because this week, 2 free transfers and 0.2 million in the bank is solely for bringing Erling Haaland into the team, right? So in terms of my transfers for Game Week 6, definitely I will be selling 1 forward to bring Erling Haaland in, but who I sell is still up in the air. If I sell Ollie Watkins, I mean, he does have good fixtures, but Fulham in Game Week 6, Burnley in Game Week 7, but he is quite expensive and he's also not performing very well. If I sell him for Erling Haaland, my replacement for Salah, who is the player I'm going to sell to free up lots of funds, that replacement can be more expensive if I sell Watkins as compared to if I sell Mateta, because Mateta is much cheaper. 7.6 million. Granted that he does have slightly worse fixtures. He's playing Liverpool in Game Week 6, and then Everton away is also not technically a very easy fixture. So looking at, my options in terms of replacements for Salah, that may kind of determine who I sell in terms of my forward positions. So say for example, right now, I choose to sell Mateta and I bring Erling Haaland in. I need to, get 6.6 million from selling Salah. So my replacement will be someone within the price range of 7.9. But that said, I still have to save some money so that in game week 7, I can do João Pedro up to Gyökeres against West Ham, because João Pedro will have Liverpool in game week 7. So that said, I can't spend all of this 7.9, and working out the kind of replacements that I'm happy enough to go with. If I sell Mateta, I'm looking at Keenan Dewsbury-Hall, because Everton's fixtures over the next 2 game weeks are not too bad. It's West Ham in game week 6, and then it's Crystal Palace in game week 7. Both are at home, and that is kind of the key as well. So obviously when you talk about, Everton assets, there's other options like Jack Grealish, who I think is a slightly better option than Keenan Dewsbury-Hall. He's much more of an assist threat as well, but he's at 6.8 million, and this would only leave me 1.1 million in the bank. If I go over to game week 7, I will not be able to do João Pedro to Gyökeres. I will be short. I will be 0.3 million short. So putting João Pedro back in here, you'll see that I need a little bit more money. So if I sell Mateta as I did just now, I can't go for Grealish, I can't go for Njai, I can't even go for Mohamed Kudus, who is someone I'm also considering, because aside from Everton, over the next 2 game weeks, Spurs also have very good fixtures. It's Wolves at home in 6 and Leeds away in game week 7. So overall, selling Mateta basically means I kind of have to go for Dewsbury-Hall. Now, the converse is also true, where if I sell Watkins instead and I forgo the good fixtures, I get Erling Haaland in here, you'll see I have much more money in the bank, even by going for someone like Kudus, who is, I think, one of the more expensive ones, 6.6. Grealish is a little bit more expensive, so putting Grealish in here for demonstration purposes, Grealish is at 6.8 million. And you'll see that I will be able to, in game week 7, afford my planned transfer of going João Pedro up to Gyökeres. So with even extra money in the bank as well. So with this in mind, I think firstly, I prefer going for these mid-price options like Grealish, Njai, or Kudus as my Salah replacement, which could probably mean that I will sell Ollie Watkins and keep Mateta instead, despite the poor fixtures for him in 6 and 7. But that said, I'm not locking in any moves yet, and the reason is because if I reverse all my transfers in the midweek, there will be the Europa League games, and that would affect teams like Nottingham Forest and also Aston Villa. So Ollie Watkins and also Murillo in my team here are subject to kind of anything that happens during those games. And also the replacements that I want to go for, like Mohamed Kudus and my other Spurs assets in here like Porro and Van de Ven, they will be having the EFL Cup games. Also the Everton assets that I want to go for, such as Grealish, Keenan Dewsbury-Hall, and Njai, they all have the EFL Cup games as well. So I'm not locking in any transfers yet, and that's also the main reason why I've kind of taken the price rise for Haaland. He's at 14.2, but I don't want to lock in any moves yet. The plan is definitely still to get Haaland, as you can see, but I will decide closer to the game week 6 deadline, and I'll share it in the team selection video if I've made my transfers by then. But yeah, as you guys can see, this week in Game Week 6 is going to be quite a pivotal week because it's going to lead up to my eventual plan of wild carding in Game Week 8. And I'll expand a bit of my chip strategy right now. So Game Week 8, the plan is to wild card, and if I go all the way down to kind of the fixture ticker for the next few game weeks, the main reasons why I think wildcarding in game week 8 is better than a wildcard in game week 6 for my team is because in game week 6, Arsenal will play Newcastle here, so that's not ideal. I think in terms of a defensive unit, Newcastle are pretty good as well. So Arsenal assets maybe won't do as well, such as Gyökeres. Game week 7, West Ham here, I think I can cover the Arsenal attackers by getting Gyökeres in for João Pedro, as I've said just now. And then game week 8, I'll start to have them in for this pretty good run that they have. So I'm not too worried about Arsenal assets by delaying my wildcard to game week 8. Another thing as well is that I'm able to cover this Burnley fixture here for game week 6, where a lot of people are bringing in Man City players because maybe they haven't gone for them. But I do think, like with my transfers and bringing Haaland in and having Reinders already, I don't have to worry too much. So overall for Game Week 6, I'm not too, worried. I don't have the wild card here. And delaying to Game Week 8 also means that I'm able to kind of, for Chelsea assets specifically, skip the Liverpool game here. There was, a couple of drafts that I've made so far that initially had Cole Palmer and João Pedro, but they play Game Week 7 Liverpool here. And yeah, Cole Palmer is also injured as well. So waiting a while more could give me more information. And overall in Game Week 8, I think there are very decent fixtures and it's the start of another run. And it's after the international break as well. So for my team, I intend to wildcard in Game Week 8. In terms of the bench boost, you'll realize here that in Game Week 9, Burnley have Wolves, and also when I look further down the list as well, Leeds actually do have West Ham. So there are cheap options on the bench that I will be able to bench boost in Game Week 9. So actually the plan is to wildcard in Game Week 8, bench boost in Game Week 9. As for the triple captainship, though I think a lot of people will use it in Game Week 6 on Erling Haaland, I have not firmed up my plans yet. I may wait for Game Week 13 when Haaland will be playing Leeds, or even Game Week 15 when Haaland will be playing Sunderland. Both of these games are at home, and I think defensively, Leeds and Sunderland are not as good as Burnley from, in terms of the eye test and also the numbers that I've seen them put up. So I may delay the triple captain to a later game week, even though I know a lot of people will be triple captaining in Game Week 6. So we'll see what happens in terms of the triple captainship. But at least for wildcard and bench boost, it's likely Game Week 8 and Game Week 9 as I discussed just now. So that's my kind of chip strategies for the next few game weeks. Let me know in the comments down below, what is your chip strategy? And also going back to my transfers here for Game Week 6, let me know what are your transfers and, am I missing out any kind of moves that I should be going for, given that I intend to bring Haaland in. And I imagine a lot of people will be selling Salah as well. So who is your Salah replacement? If not, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please do drop a like. Please do subscribe as well. And I will catch you in more Game Week 6 content coming very, very soon. Bye-bye.